Hi, good evening. Thank you for joining us. My name is Srikrishna Ayyangar. I'm a faculty at the National School and currently the chair of the Public Policy Program. I'm joined by my colleague, Dr. Devyani Pande, who is also faculty at the Public Policy Program and is the vice chair of the program. We wanted to give you a sense of what careers in public policy look like. Um, Also, as part of that, talk about what our masters in public policy at NLS looks like, and where are the jobs or where have our students gone, to give you a sort of a glimpse into the kind of alumni profiles that we have. I'm assuming we'll take around 25 minutes or so, 20 to 25 minutes, and then we'll open it up for further questions. So once again, welcome. And uh, so this is a data set. So you can move the slides. So this is the data set that we've both created. It has around 800 jobs in public policy over the past anywhere between 5 to 10 years. And what's very clear, and I don't think there's been any research on this so far, at least on India. This was one of the first, I think, papers or short descriptions which will come. What is very clear, if you notice the table, that we have most of the jobs are in either uh, Delhi or in the NCR region and Bangalore, Mumbai, and Hyderabad, and then they're spread over other locations. What is very interesting from the data that we've seen, to put it very shortly, is that if you look at the non-for-profit jobs, we have around 20% or maybe a little bit, 25% of jobs are in the not-profit sector. Almost an equal number of jobs are available in the corporate and the consulting sector, in the for-profit sector, if you want to call it that. And then you have a third slice, which is where you find jobs in either in research and academic institutions and some jobs in the government sector. So there are three key takeaways from this. One is that public policy is not just located in Delhi, but you find it spread in 3 other cities and many other locations beyond Delhi in India. Two, the practice of public policy is not just for the non-profits, but it's also a practice that is easily found in the for-profit and in research and government positions. We dug a little bit deeper, and I think Devyani, you can walk them through the next two slides.
Sure. Thank you, Krishna. So, this is a data set of all vacancies related to public policy that are available on LinkedIn and a couple of other platforms, Google, etc. And what we tried seeing was what are the responsibilities that are listed within the vacancies and what are the requirements for these public policy jobs. So just to share with you quickly, this is something called topic modeling that is used to identify themes or topics from a lot of words that are used. And when we analyzed all those responsibilities for public policy jobs across these different cities, different regions in India, what we find is that the responsibilities are around three key areas: managerial, analytical, and relational. So if you see the bar graph one, which is just a histogram of the frequency of words that are there in the public policy job vacancies, we see a lot of words like stakeholder, team, implementation, monitoring. So a lot of managerial responsibilities coming up when it comes to public policy jobs across different levels, junior levels, mid levels, higher levels. Similarly, for the second topic, teamwork is very important. Assisting people in projects, working in teams, policy advocacy is a really important responsibility for public policy jobs. And we also see terms like stakeholder management, relationship management, which actually indicates the significance of managing these relations, of having good interpersonal skills, right? So this is the finding from our data set on what are the public policy jobs available and what are specifically the responsibilities for these jobs. The next thing that we tried to look at were what were the requirements listed. So usually the way job vacancies look like are that there are a set of responsibilities. What will you be responsible if you get the job? And then what are the requirements? So what is your criteria, eligibility criteria? And in that, again, we find a couple of themes like communication is really important, and that shows up in almost all topics. So if you look at the bar charts 1, 3, 5, communication is topmost in that. Analytical skills, technical rigor is also really important. So if you look at the bar graph 4, you should be proficient in softwares like Stata, R, Microsoft Office, etc. Apart from that, analytical skills and writing skills, so writing reports, writing policy briefs, being really proficient even in anything to do with oral presentations is also very important as the requirements for public policy jobs. So next we come to the program overview of the Masters in Public Policy that we offer at the National Law School of India University. This is a 2-year program that is carried out through 6 terms. So we have 3 trimesters in 1 year. We also have a very significant experiential learning component, which comprises of a rural immersion that takes place after the first trimester of the course, wherein students actually go and stay in villages for a duration of 21 days. They see the governance structures there firsthand. They see what are the challenges that are faced by the people living there. And they come back with certain reflections, also applying a lot of foundations of public policy theories that they have learned in the first trimester. That's one part of the experiential component that we have. The other component is the internship, where you get to intern with organizations like think tanks, corporate sector, etc. And Professor Srikrishna will share that in a moment or two. We also have different perspectives from social sciences, humanities, so from different disciplines. Public policy inherently is a very interdisciplinary program. So we have courses from different modules, and we'll show you that in the later part of this presentation. Of course, the USP of this program is that we have law related courses as well. We are housed in a law school, and we understand that there are significant synergies between policy and law. And this is where the Masters in Public Policy program at NLS is slightly different from the other programs. And it is the only program that has this component of law in India. So students and professionals with any graduate degree, any undergraduate degree can apply for the MPP program. We are agnostic towards the discipline. If you're from psychology, political science, economics, media background, communications, any degree would work and you can apply for an MPP program. Just to give you a sense of what are the career opportunities, and Professor Krishna will go into further detail after this. We have had placements in different sorts of domains in the corporate sector. You have a couple of consultancies on this slide. We have had students who have been placed in non-government organizations. We have had students who have been placed in evaluation based organizations, research organizations, think tanks, political consultancies, etc. Over to you, Krishna.
Okay. Thanks, Devyani. So just to give you some background, we have around, ours is a 10-year-old program. We're in a revised curriculum right now. We have around 420 plus alum in this program. What I've done is essentially, because you really want to know where are the jobs and what kinds of jobs, what we did was we just took a sample of around 25 alum profiles right now, starting from an alum who graduated, let's say, a year or two earlier, all the way to the very first batch, to see, you know, what do careers in public policy look like? So I've categorized them into three parts. So let's say a junior level, or a person who's just recently graduated, to a mid-level, someone 5 years post the program, and someone 10 years post the program. And what are the opportunities? So obviously I've anonymized the data. So for example, students who just passed out, let's say a year or two ago, right now, some of them are in the corporate sector working for a company like Rapido. There's another person who's working in a company called InMobi, which is more a tech policy sort of firm. They have backgrounds, working in, I guess, in place in consultings and so on. Another profile that you can look at is in consulting. You have similar from the same 0 to 5 years of experience. You have an alum working in a data management or a operations management firm called CMS. You have another person now doing working in a political consulting firm called Varahe Analytics. Further, we have some students, obviously, who work in NGOs. We have someone who's working full-time now in Teach for India. We have another person working in what is called YLAC, or Young Leaders for Active Citizenship. Some of you might have gone through their workshop, and so on. If you And the last bucket that you find are we have some who are working in evaluation. I mean, to the left-hand side of the screen, you'll notice it's called Sambodhi. While it's a program evaluation firm, it's essentially to do policy research in some ways. So while they conduct data-based experiments, and we have some others working in pure policy research, such as the Center for Digital Economy Policy, the CDEP, essentially as an organization. There are some, of course, who, and further, we have some more, students who, we have someone who's currently a program manager at what is called the World Resources Institute. We have another person who's working, I think, this particular person has chosen writing as a path and currently works in the Hindu magazine, the Hindu newspaper. Moving on, I guess the final one that I wanted to probably say is that there's someone who's also working at a junior level, working in JPAL. Many of you would know that it's one of the top evaluation firms in the country. Just to add to that, this trimester, we invited Mr. Ron Abraham, who's one of the founders of a premier evaluation organization called ID Insight, to actually teach the course on program evaluation and monitoring. So, JPAL, ID Insight, JPAL is a student, ID Insight is the founder was offering that course in our program. Moving on to, I think, the mid-level, which are the consulting roles. Notice after 5 years, you find someone who's working as a consultant in PwC. And then we have someone working at a slight mid-manager level in Janagraha, which many of you will know is one of the most prominent urban governance NGOs, non-profit, but it has several wings. In the area of urban governance. Maybe you can go further. We have someone working in CEEW, which is the Council on Energy, Environment and Water. This is based out of Delhi. It's a more of a policy research organization. Apart from the standard sort of social sector, sustainability roles, we have someone who's working in what is called Vadvani AI, which is clearly in tech policy. We have another student, of course, working now in the Indian Climate Collaborative, which is again, a sustainability sort of policy research institute. To go further, among these five, we found that one student is actually pursuing their PhD at Cornell in I think related to labor and migration among this mid-level cohort. What does it look like when you actually, and these are students that we've kind of, if I'm not mistaken, at the senior level, these are students who have done the master's in public policy. They've not taken on any other additional degree from abroad or whatever. These are students who have graduated from NLS and continued working. And we were very curious because these are the first few batches as to where they are now. And clearly, again, you see someone working in as full-time as the deputy general manager in Porter. Another person in the corporate sector working for Sterlite Technologies. If you can go further, and earlier they were in Ola and so on. We have some people actually at quite senior levels now. One is an associate director at Deloitte. Another person is currently a manager at Grant Thornton, again, premier consulting firms. If you go further, we have someone now who work in research and multilateral organizations. We have someone who's working in policy research at A3, works in, which is, I think, based mostly out of Karnataka. And we have someone who's also working at the World Bank. Yeah. And then we have, again, so you have corporate sector jobs, you have NGO jobs, you have policy research jobs, and then you have people who worked enough and now want to get back to academia. And we have some students who are pursuing a PhD at Santa Cruz, University of California at Santa Cruz. We have another student pursuing her PhD at Columbia. So that's broadly, while we've given you a very quick, I think we just spent 10 minutes to give you a sense. But what we wanted to tell you that almost all our students get placed. And in fact, public policy as a sector itself is a multi-billion-dollar industry in India. While we don't necessarily think it's an MBA, we do think that there are enough job opportunities available for students from varying undergraduate backgrounds. I just want to add one thing as to why we think you find this spread in this program as opposed to many other public policy programs. The very fact that we have an academically rigorous program both in the technical side, which is econometrics and data sciences and evaluation and so on, and we also provide them with a deep knowledge in the social sciences. We have a few courses on project management and policy communication. I think what makes this program very distinctive is the legal dimension. The very fact that you know law, or at least you know how to read the law, even if you're not a lawyer, allows you to convince the government to accept your idea very easily. I mean, if you've got a great idea, the question is the idea is great, but everyone's going to ask you, well, how do you implement this? How can you make the government listen to you? And the only language that the government, not the only, but the primary language that the government works through is law. So when you understand law, when you understand rules and regulations, and you understand statutory obligations, it's very easy for you to make your idea actionable. And that's possibly why you find so many students in NLS working across domains, just like you would find lawyers working across sectors. I'll just stop there, and Devyani, you should continue at the program level.
Sure. After that insight into the diverse jobs that are available in the public policy domain, I'd like to discuss a bit about the admissions process for the Masters in Public Policy program at NLS. So the NLSAT is a national level examination that will take place around April this year. The format of that exam looks like this. Part A comprises of objective type questions or multiple choice questions, and it makes up for 75 marks. Part B is a more descriptive section, which will test you on your quantitative skills and policy related subjective skills, whereas Part A will test you on your reading comprehension. You'll be given a passage and then you'll be asked questions related to that passage, critical reasoning, general knowledge, and current affairs. So you can develop these skills by maybe reading newspapers, practicing quantitative skills, which is your basic math, numerical skills, etc. So, in terms of the eligibility required for this program, any bachelor's degree, but at least a bachelor's degree from a recognized national or foreign university will be required. Aggregate marks of at least 45% for students in the general category and 40% in the other categories. Students in the final year of their bachelor's degree can also apply to the MPP program, provided that they success and they will gain admission, provided that they take the NLSAT successfully, pass that, and they successfully complete their bachelor's degree as well. In terms of the intake, the total number of seats is 120. But usually our class size looks like about 40 to 50 students every year. This is the percentage of the reservation that's on the slide. You can have a look at it. All these details are also available on the website and the specific MPP program webpage. This is how the curriculum of the program looks like. So I'd mentioned that the program is a 2-year program and is across 6 trimesters. After every trimester where you see a break, there will be an experiential learning component. So the first one is the rural immersion, followed by 3 internships. And the last one is the dissertation or capstone, and we've also added the flexibility of students having the choice of taking 2 electives instead of doing a capstone project or a dissertation project. So anybody who wants to go into academia or has academic interests is more than welcome to write a dissertation, the process of which starts in the second year itself. And anybody who's interested in having an experience of how to solve real life problems will be associated with an agency, and that turns out to be your capstone project. In terms of the courses that we offer, we have the following core courses that you can see on the slide, and these are color coded to give you an idea that these cover different disciplines. So the ones in green, like foundations of public policy, policy analysis, policy design, monitoring and evaluation, and public institutions in India, are from the discipline of public policy. The ones in lavender or mauve are from the legal uh, faculty members, and the law faculty members. So we have reading legal material, constitutional foundations of state in India, and regulatory governance. The third discipline that we cover is economics. So we have economics for public policy 1 and 2, which is basically microeconomics for policy and macroeconomics for policy. And we also offer the core course of public finance. And then finally, we have a lot of skill development programs. So this is something that was introduced as part of the curriculum review that was undertaken last year. So we have data sciences for public policy, we have policy communications, we have organizational studies and project management, we have negotiation, advocacy, and leadership for public policy, research methods, and also a course on ethics, business, and sustainability. Apart from that, the ones in orange or red are from the discipline of, from the perspective of political science. So we have politics and policy, and we have state law and policy. So to give you an idea, this is what the curriculum of the program looks like. This is the fees for the program, the tuition and facilities fee, off-campus housing fee, and a one-time admissions fee. Again, all these details are available on the website for you to see. We do provide financial aid, but financial aid is completely means-based. It's not based on your percentage or your performance in the program. It's completely means based, and it could look like a full or a partial tuition waiver, a residential expenses waiver, or a loan interest payment, and in some cases a stipend as well. The details on financial aid are also available on our website. So these are the important dates, and the QR code will take you to the NLSAT website where you can register directly for the examination. The last date to apply is 23rd March 2026, a Monday. The exam will take place on 26th April 2026. The results are likely to be announced by May end. And if you're successful, we'll see you on 1st of July when we start the classes.